If they had picked Caitlyn Clark, even though she doesn't have a lot of experience, pick her, let her gain that experience, and she's going to be the one in 3, 4, 5 years who's going to be one of the leaders of that USA team.
Welcome to the Courtside Club. I'm so excited to have you on today, a fellow ODU Monarch, and also recently my fellow colleague at BIG3.
It's fantastic. Welcome to the BIG3, one of the most amazing experiences you're going to have. Ice Cube is next level, brilliant, kind, understanding. Iconic, humble. He's a different guy. He's my spirit animal.
Oh, I love that. You know, my birthday's Friday, his is Saturday. So I feel like I have a little Gemini connection to Cube now as well.
Oh, yeah. And I'm sneaking up behind you. I have July 1st. So.
Oh, you're right there. Perfect. So how did you get connected with the BIG3 and get involved? And now you are head coach of the Power. You already have one championship under your belt with the BIG3. What has that been like and how'd you get started?
Well, it was a great story, an interesting story. I was coaching in the NBA with the Sacramento Kings. You know, it was just Becky down in San Antonio and myself. And in 2018, my mom got sick. And I'm sitting here and I feel terrible because I know I have to be with my mom down in Florida. And so after the season, I went into my GM, Vlade Divac, and I said, Vlade, I have to go. I have to go to my mom. And he says, you know, Nancy, go. You need, smoker. He goes, you must go. You go to your mother. And she was 88 years old. And I'm glad I had those 4 years or so with her because she passed away 2 years ago. But Ice Cube called, the BIG3 call. And it was basically, hey, I'm sitting in a room with guys that, by and large look like me. And he's a man of diversity and opportunity, equality. And he said, we'd love for you to coach in our league. And I asked him the question. I said, you go through this. Are you checking a box just so you have like a check in, on your team? And he goes, no, I think you can win. And I said, that's what I wanted to hear. He said, I also know, that your mom's been sick and this would be a couple days a week and it's a 10-week, basic schedule. So it worked out. And more importantly, we got on a call that Monday. He said, look, you tell your agent, you'll be the highest paid coach in the league. You don't have to negotiate it. Whatever Julius and Gary Payton and Rick Barry and Mahorn and Gervin and all those guys make, you'll make. So he
love that.
Wasn't, talk. He was actionary. It actually happened.
Well, I feel like that's Cube also. Of course, we love diversity, but he's not just going to hire you just because you're a woman. You're a legend in the space and have been doing this for so many years. And to even become a head coach or become a coach in the NBA, and you've coached in the WNBA as well. Like, what is the difference going into a league like this when it comes to just simply coaching? Obviously, besides the simple fact that it's 3-on-3.
Well, you're coaching professional athletes. And, even though, the difference in the gender, my job is to take them to the next level of their career, to get them to their next contract, to give them, in this league in particular, sometimes these guys have played and given 10, 12, 14 years to their careers, to the NBA, so that their families could have some generational wealth and have a different life. And in many cases, they were on the road, and now we want their kids at the game. We want their wives or girlfriends or whomever, grandma, auntie. We want the family there. And, with Power, we, until about a half hour before game time, bring your kids, let them run in the locker room. We want the kids to know what daddy does. And we want to celebrate these men. And, the kids get so excited about seeing their father running out and smoke and seeing their names up on the scoreboard. Yeah. I mean, that's cool stuff. I mean, that's metal to me. I mean, that's unbelievable.
of course, yes, one of the coolest things to me about Big3 is it's so much fun. And it's feels a little more casual, like you said, being able to have the kids around and family and just the environment of the fans. But once they step on the court, it's hoops. We're playing hard.
It has to be. I mean, these are competitive athletes and competitive coaches. All the coaches, by and large, are Hall of Famers and have played, won championships. Trust me. I mean, I want to have dinner with Julius, but we want to beat Julius. I want Julius to hand us his trophy. The Julius Erving Championship Trophy. The league is growing. You're seeing NBA guys who are calling me, asking me about it. More and more, as we continue to grow beyond year 7, you're going to see more and more NBA guys come here and want to play. And, we're already having conversations for 2025 of players that want to be in this league.
We had obviously the biggest news story about the offer that was made to Caitlyn Clark early on. She didn't take that and, was starting her rookie season in the WNBA. What did you think, firstly, about that offer? I heard one interview, you said that you would love to have her come play for you. Do you think that the Big3 would open up to involving more female players?
Well, that's something that Ice Cube and Jeff are going to have to figure out. There's men in this league who work really hard. It's very big. It's very physical. It's no nonsense. It would have to be, somebody who, was special enough to have that opportunity. I don't think this league is going to be opened up to women. But I can tell you, as somebody who played for the Los Angeles Lakers, I'm mourning the death today of Jerry West. But in 1980, when I was 22, before I went to Old Dominion, I should say after I went to Old Dominion and graduated, I was asked by Jerry West, talk about being ahead of your time, Dr. Buss and Jerry, about me coming out and playing summer league for the Lakers. And I played, my coach was Pat Riley.
So cool.
Rach, I didn't have the W in my prime. So I had to play 2 years in the USBL, which is equivalent to the NBA G League. Then I played for the Utah Jazz. I mean, I was getting my butt kicked up and down the floor. Here I am picking up a charge on Karl Malone, or having Mark Eaton, 7'4", 280, set a screen on me. So I had to learn the hard way. So it's doable. Certainly it's better that there's a W now. But I think in a special case, like Caitlyn, who can move the needle, she's generational. In 1984, Michael Jordan came into the league as a rookie. He just turned the league, on its head with ratings, with, butts in the seats, with endorsements for not only himself, but players. And it was very important, to the growth of that league. And look where we are today. LeBron's a billionaire playing basketball. And you're seeing it with Tiger Woods when he came into golf and he changed the economic trajectory. Every guy on tour should have thanked Tiger Woods because the ratings are higher, the purses were higher, the media, the following, because people gravitated towards them. And the same thing's happening with Caitlyn Clark after 2 years of having broken every record possible in women's collegiate basketball and men's basketball for that, Mark. She has a following that has been unmeasured. As great as some of us have been in the world of women's basketball, Lisa, Leslie, Nancy Lieberman, Taurasi, Bird, Catchings, Griner, a lot of Hall of Famers.
Candace,
we didn't move the needle. We laid the groundwork, but we didn't move the needle the way this woman has done it. So she's extraordinary, and I was proud of the league for making an offer to her. To play, for merchandising, for ownership. If she plays in the W, it's groundbreaking. If she played in the Big3, it would be earth-shattering. And I thought, she should have done it. But so let me just say this to put a period on it. After seeing everything that she's gone through in her, the physicality and people coming at her and the veterans trying to prove a point, which is okay. She's going to have to deal with it. If she had taken this offer, I don't now know what would have happened to her. Like, there is some jealousy, there is some pettiness, as Barkley and Stephen A. and some other guys have said. But it's doable. Bo Jackson played, for the Raiders and the Kansas City Royals. Deion Sanders played, in Atlanta, for the Falcons, and he also played, for the Braves. Why shouldn't you if you can? Why shouldn't you?
And I think that's the thing. If anybody could do it, it would be Caitlyn. The thing that has impressed me the most about her is just her poise and grace through all of this and how she handles herself in the media. And I don't think I've yet to hear her complain about anything, even with, the physicality and just that's a lot of pressure on a young woman and having all eyeballs on her, not only in the sports world and the political world and celebrities and this and that. And she's just handled it so well. So I agree with you. If anybody could have handled it, I think it could have been her. How do you feel about her being left off of Team USA?
Well, I fully understand that is one of the most difficult jobs that the committee has to do. It's hella tough because you're talking about the greatest female basketball players right now in America. But this is what I will say. I'm talking from experience. I was in high school when I made the Olympic team in 1976. Billy Moore, and I didn't know this, my head coach, until years later. Billy Moore said, I picked you for the future of the game. And because the 12th player is not really going to play a lot. Even if you're a grizzled veteran, if you're that player and there's ego and there's, you don't want to have to explain to your people why you're one of the best players in the WNBA and you're sitting on the bench. I went through that when I played in the W in 97. I was embarrassed because I was only playing, 12, 13 minutes a game at 39 years old. But Cheryl Miller did the right thing. I didn't think it was the right thing at the time because I was, so competitive. And so if they had picked Caitlyn Clark, even though she doesn't have a lot of experience, even though she missed some of the training camps, pick her, let her gain that experience. And she's going to be the one in 3, 4, 5 years who's going to be one of the leaders of that USA team. So give her that experience. She's going to put more eyeballs than ever before seen at an Olympics on women's basketball, on women's sports. The crowds are going to be bigger. It was a no-brainer, in my opinion, and, the selection committee can do what they want, but I think you picked that 12th spot for the future because that 12th player, you cannot play 12 players. It's not going to happen. I have played this game and I have coached this game at every level, and it's hard to get 9 players to play.
For sure. No, I fully agree with you on that. And I think I know there's a lot of things that come into play, right, when you're putting together this team. But I feel like some of the reasonings that have been put out to the media as to why she wasn't selected to me don't make sense. A lot of people saying, oh, she's just not one of the 12 best players in the league right now. However, I don't think they necessarily chose the 12 best players if we're just talking about skill. Diana Taurasi, again, isn't in her prime, but she's there for leadership and legacy. Chelsea Gray's coming off of injury. I don't think she's played yet this year. Again, fantastic player, but I feel like that to me was an interesting choice. Brittany Griner's also coming off of injury. And I agree with you in the sense that I just have so much confidence in Caitlyn Clark. Even when she would get playing time, I don't think that there would be a drop off. She has been in these big pressure situations before. And I also think having her on that team elevates the other women who we should also be spotlighting because these are incredible basketball players. So I would have loved to have seen not only for her, not only for the WNBA, but also these women that would be playing next to her and having all of these new eyeballs on. Like, how cool would that have been to see, an assist from Caitlyn to Diana where there was this, tension between the two? Like, that would be big moments for us. So I'm a bit disappointed that she's not there.
I agree with you 100% on everything you just said because why isn't Enrique on the team? She's the leading scorer in the WNBA right now.
Very true.
She's just crushing it, and she's got 2 major starters in Natasha Howard and Satu out. So, I believe that Caitlyn Clark would play at a higher level on both sides of the ball when you play with the elite of the elite. Playing on USA Basketball, for 8 years changed my life, because it made me have to grind and be serious, and every practice was a war within the practice, and it took me to another level. So I'm really grateful for USA Basketball. They're phenomenal. But Jen Rosati said something, I looked at her quote, and within the body of that quote was the word loyalty. And everybody will look at loyalty, how? I mean, loyalty because you've played a long time, loyalty because I'm a friend of yours, loyalty because maybe we went to the same college. What does loyalty mean? And I've known Jen Rosati. I called games when she was playing in college, and she is hella smart, and she's given her life to this game. But, I still would love to sit down and just, chop it up and talk about, like we talked about, those last 3 or 4 spots. Maybe somebody's not going to get in the game. So why not take one of them and build for the future?
Absolutely. And you, correct me if I'm wrong, the youngest player to ever medal in the Olympics?
Youngest Olympic basketball player ever, male or female.
Do you remember what that first game was like for you?
I do. We played Japan. It was the first game in Olympic history, and we played at 9:00 in the morning. And Billy Moore, the late Billy Moore, who's a Hall of Famer, she and Sue Gunner, our assistant coach, they were getting us up like 4 a.m. to get us going and eating.
Oh, wow.
Just making sure that we were ready and awake. And Lucy Harris, the late Lucy Harris, she scored the first basket against Japan in women's Olympic basketball history. And it was, you're sitting there with red, white, and blue, and you hear your anthem, and you're getting chills. And I'm just so thankful. There was Ann Myers and Trish Roberts and Lucy Harris and Pat Summitt, who was Pat Head at the time, and just some of the greatest players to ever play the game. And I got to learn from them, and they mentored me, right? Lift when you rise, take somebody up with you. And they took me up with them. And once they all retired, 77, 76, 77, I go to Old Dominion. And I was really not a freshman. I had the experience of a senior. And so that Olympic experience, and the other part of the Olympic experience, which is amazing. Okay, Tiger Woods doesn't know what this feels like. Martina Navratilova doesn't know what this feels like. You're underneath the bowels of the stadium when you walk in, for the opening ceremonies. And you see when they come out and they have the sign that says Ecuador or Africa or, France or whatever, Denmark. Underneath the stadium, there's like a couple women or whoever with megaphones, and they're like, stay with your country. Stay with your country. Now, there's Kobe Bryant, and I'm from Australia. The United States is there, and, Australia is there. These people, they ain't staying in there with their country. Yeah. They wanted to be with Usain Bolt. They wanted to be with Kobe and Jason Kidd and MJ and Barkley. It is one of the coolest things to be underneath the stadium. And really, you're in that little round circle under the bowels of the stadium. And from the minute we got down there, stay with your country. I had one of my teammates walk out with Australia.
Because they weren't paying it. Yeah, I mean, that would be something just to look around and be like, oh my gosh, there's so much greatness surrounding me. Like, how do you keep composed and be like, okay, got to stay with my team,
So with you coming to the Big 3, this is going to be great. I know you're a great influencer and you have great followers.
Thank
you. Just, be loud and proud. If we deserve it, follow us. Talk about us.
Of course.
Support us, because we want to do that for you too. And we just really appreciate you being here.
Thank you.
It's a great time for women in sports. And because of your background, you're so respected. And then you have your worldly opinions, which is pretty cool.
Thank you so much. That means a lot coming from you, Nancy. Honestly, like I told you when we met at draft, I've been following you for years, always been a fan. You were one of the reasons that I went to ODU. Just such a legend in the game and the space. So I'm happy that we'll get to spend more time together. And hopefully, yeah, I can just bring my side, my internet side, my hosting side, and just elevate BIG3, because I've been interested since I saw AI step on that court. I thought it was so cool. So I'm really excited to be here. So I appreciate all you guys. Yeah, of course.
Cube and Jeff don't make mistakes, so they have the right person for the right job. And the BIG3 is powerful now. It's just going to a whole nother level. So we're pretty excited.
It's going to be a big summer. Well, Nancy, thank you so much again for coming on Courtside Club. I know you're super busy, but welcome back anytime. And I know we'll have more time this summer. So as things pop up, anything you want to talk about, you can also feel free to use Courtside as an outlet as well.
Thank you. You take care, okay?
Thank you.